No, okay.
Okay. My name is Sophia and Olivia. I am co-president of the Mount Hope Student Union.
Can you talk a little bit louder?
Yeah, can you hear us? Or do we need to whatever?
Yeah, it might help.
Okay.
Just talk a little bit louder.
Yeah. My name is Sophia and Vergadamo, and I am co-president of the Mount Hope Student Union.
And I'm Olivia and Guerra, and I'm the other co-president of the Mount Hope Student Union.
So I just wanted to ask, there were some parents here earlier. I heard them say that they were opposition, but it feels like they all left. I'm not really sure why they didn't listen to the speeches. Like, what are some of the things that parents have said to you in opposition to like what you've said?
So we've heard some opposition online, but our main thing is that a lot of those parents don't have children in the district anymore, and they mostly hear the information from that one circle that they have, and they don't really get outside information. And we're trying to share our perspectives here today.
Right. And it seems like they didn't really listen because they left before the first speeches even.
Ultimately, we're just trying to make as much change as we can, and if they're against us, there's not much we can do, but we're going to continue to do what we're doing.
Yeah.
So.
Have they gotten like specific about what they're even opposing? Like what?
Not that we've heard, just a lot of name calling online.
Unfortunately, since we're minors, it's a bit of a step down and shows like the individual's character, since you're fighting a bunch of teenagers that are just trying to make change in a town that is ultimately struggling with that fact, but needs it.
So I guess like next it's like I could just talk about your influences, like what kind of led you to want to make a protest or even be interested in looking out for it in the first place. Like someone had to notice, I guess. Sorry, I just like I know there's been like a lot of like critical race theory drama around the country, and even in North Kingstown, I remember that they tried to remove, I think, a school board member because she had said something vaguely in support of critical race theory. But when it came time to actually recall her, 0 people signed the signatures. So people were raising concerns that was like a dark money campaign, and this seems like the opposite of that. Very like transparent, I guess. So I guess like tell me about what led you to want to do activism in your state, in your town.
So the student union started out back in freshman year when
about 2 years ago, beginning of 2019 or beginning of 2020.
Right before the pandemic. Sarah Braganza reached out to me about this program because she had heard that I'm very like politically driven. I've always wanted to be an activist of some kind. And then sometime around next year, I got Olivia to join, and she really like went with it right away. So we decided that it would make sense, since we've been friends for so long, and we work so well together, that we would help motivate the rest of this to happen.
Nice.
With that being said, I suppose it's the fact that like our school is like predominantly white, as mentioned before, and that handful of kids that are like, as Luciano mentioned in his speech, are faced with the daily like discrimination, as well as like LGBTQ students, like what Vic said as well, is like everyone's being impacted that stands out. So it's like if you're a sore thumb in like this school of predominantly white straight kids, it's like you're targeted because of that, and like kids are just so easily able to go after you, and the fact that like the school committee doesn't realize that, and these decisions that they're making are just enabling that rhetoric within our school, isn't helping the situation any more than it like already is.
Yeah, and we've known about some of the school committee members' intolerance to change for a while. I think Carly Reich said it in a recent interview that for like the past year, all of the votes have been 5-4, the same 5 people voting for one side and the other 4 voting for the other.
So do you feel like it's kind of like a lot of things have been happening for a long time, and now it's just the
especially time? It's more so the fact that like these people have been on the board for years, and the older members typically don't have students that are in the district anymore, so they're making these decisions that are not directly impacting them, and we see these changes that are directly impacting us. So the fact that like they're making these, and they don't want to listen to us either for the most part. Like, we've tried contacting them, and as Marjorie McBride last year, when we interviewed her about elections, she said that student voice is critical. Yet when we try bringing these issues at hand, towards them, they shut us down, as seen at our meeting. Etta was cut off at her 3-minute mark, yet she wasn't finished speaking. So it's just difficult seeing all of these changes being made, yet we can't do anything about it, essentially.
There were only 2 speakers, and we're allotted 15 minutes to speak. She had literally 2 sentences left. But when the speech became too targeted for certain members of the school committee, they tried to cut her off. Fortunately, we had been prepared for that, but we've, like we said, our member Etta brought this to our attention. We knew that due to the nature of the school committee members, it was going to take a lot more than just speaking once, and so that's why we're here today. That's why we're collecting letters. We're going to be at the school committee meeting on the 22nd, hosting a sit-in, where we're going to be showing these letters.
This is just the beginning, honestly. Yeah. This is just the beginning, and there's no stopping us now. So that's what's kind of led us to this point.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
If there's anyone else that would want to talk,